Jaya Jai Gaur Premanande.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you everybody for coming to our Sunday program. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Shivasari Gaurvani. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare. Vanchakal Patrubhyascha Kripasindhu Patitanam Pavanebhyo So today is the auspicious occasion of the American date of Mother's Day. So we thought we will share some points about this. As all of you can see, I am very experienced in motherhood. So although I personally do not have experience, I will speak on behalf of Shastra, what Shastra says about such a beautiful topic. So there is one verse, actually it's not directly in the Shastra, but it's Prabhupada quotes it many times about the different types of mothers. So there, according to Vedic culture, there is 7 types of mothers. Does anyone know any of them? At least one you should know. If you don't know one, then we cannot help you. They're in the back?
A life's Brahmana.
Okay, good.
Cow.
Cow?
Or biological mother.
Biological mother?
The Guru's wife.
Earth, Guru's wife?
King's wife.
King's wife, and one more.
The earth.
Earth. Yeah, good. Yes, any more?
A cow.
Yeah, cow, good. We said, yeah.
Nurse.
Yeah, the nurse we didn't say, that should be 7, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the 7th one. So, actually me and Hari Ramesh Prabhu, we were trying to find where is the source, and it seems like it's from Chanakya Pandit, I don't know. But Prabhupada says, in different places, it says in the Shastra, so maybe Chanakya Pandit is quoting from another place, but it was not easy to find the exact source of this. But the verse is that Ado Mata, Guru Patni, Brahmani, Raja Patnika, Dhainur Dhatri, which means the nurse, and Tatha Prithvi, Ye Saptaita Mata Smrita, that these are the 7 mothers given in Shastra. So obviously the first one everybody knows, yeah? Generally it said Ado Mata, but sometimes when I saw it says Atma Mata, which basically means same thing. Either your first mother or the mother of yourself, but either way it's your biological mother. So this is the most popular type of mother, obviously, because everybody who lives in this world, they must have a mother and a father, right? So Vedic culture is a culture of appreciation, and Vedic culture is a culture of being conscious. There is one very simple quote by Srila Prabhupada that he says, first you become conscious, then you can become Krishna conscious, right? So Vedic culture means that mode of goodness means to be conscious, and to means to have pious qualities. So one of the most important qualities is gratefulness. So therefore, one of Prabhupada's very senior disciples from the UK, because I'm from the UK, he says that gratefulness means thankful for something great. That's like if somebody gives you a banana, it's not such a big deal, right? But somebody gives you, like now we have a new Columbus opening, which day? 24th or something?
25th, groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking, when? 25th of...
June 25th.
Oh, very soon, eh?
Yeah.
So, somebody gives a big donation, $100,000, whoa. So gratefulness means you're thankful especially for the great things. And what is the great things we've been given? The great thing, especially in the world we've been given, is there's a different people who give us the great things in life. Does anybody know that verse? that we have many debts in this world to different people.
Devarshi Bhuta.
Huh?
Devarshi
Yes.
Bhuta Aptaninam Pitrinam.
Yeah.
Naking Karonayam Rinichara. This
Yes, this one. The Devarsha, Devas. So we have the duty to reciprocate for the Devatas, the Devas, because they are the ones who are supplying so many things in this world. They're the ones who are influencing the weather. They're the ones, the moon and sun. Without them, we cannot eat, because the moon is the one nourishing the vegetable, and the sun is the one giving the light so the plants can grow, right? So we are obliged to so many different demigods. We are obliged to so many different superior beings, Deva, and then the rishis. So Rishi, actually, in Vedic culture, we don't have only rishis who are talking about metaphysics, who are giving Divya Gyan, but even material knowledge they are giving. So even if you're not a spiritualist, you are still obliged to the rishis. Just like everybody in this world, even if they're atheists, they use mathematics. So mathematics actually is coming from Vedic culture. And also the study of the planets. So many things which we are receiving. Even if we are atheists, still we are obliged to the Rishi. So Deva, Rishi, and then Bhutapta, all of the different living beings. So we were discussing this yesterday in, where were we? Yesterday? In Indianapolis. We were discussing about the Bhutas. Bhuta means anybody in the body, any body being. Because in this world we are not just a soul, but we are embodied soul. We are conditioned soul. So the soul is by nature pure, but when we, in this world, we take a material body, so we're acting through the body. So we're actually obliged to many other living beings in this world, right? We may be, just like somebody may be elderly, to cross the road, maybe someone will help us. We go to the supermarket, someone is helping us. Wherever we go, there's always service exchange being given to anybody in this world. We go to school, we're obliged to the teachers, we're obliged to our friends, they're helping us. Oh, this is the correct answer. Oh, okay, I didn't know. So everything in this world, we are dealing with others, and somebody is helping us, and we're helping somebody else. And the relatives. So relative includes the mother, right? And then Bhutapta, Devashi Bhutapta, Rinam, then the humankind in general, not only other living entities. Actually, Bhuta doesn't mean even only in society, even to the trees, even to the grass. Everything. We are obliged even to the phytoplankton in the sea, because actually the sea is absorbing more carbon dioxide even than the trees. So even the small beings in the ocean, we are obliged to them. Without them, we cannot even breathe. So then Rinam we already discussed. In the human society, different people we are obliged to. And Pitrinam, the forefathers. So we are not actually, whoever we are now, even the way we're thinking, the way we're acting, is based on how the generations have been handing down the culture, handing down the training, both in a positive way and a negative way. Just like we were discussing yesterday, intergenerational traumas. In America, people a lot of trauma going on. I hear about trauma more in the US than in what they call third world countries. So in this country, so many problems, domestic problems. My parents did this, my grandparents had this problem, that problem, and it comes down. So the Pitris, they influence us both positively and negatively. But the proper Pitri means that they are doing all of the bringing culture down, handing down culture and training, how to live properly. So that's why parental role is also very important, because we are training the next generation in culture and proper behavior. So we are obliged to many people in this world. And one of the main obligations we have is the mother. Because the mother, even more than the father, is the most dominant role in the household. The father is providing material things, but the mother, she's providing the culture, the training, and the love. So generally we find, even in my own experience, that the mother, she gives a more time and more emotional investment even than the father. Does anyone feel that with their mother? So this is the very important point, that whoever we are now is not just our own making. Nowadays in modern society we're taught to become very narcissistic, right? And very self-centered. Especially the way we use phones and social media. It's all training us to everything should revolve around us. But in Vedic culture, actually, you are not you are you and your family, and that's one unit. You are not independent of your family. So therefore you see in Vedic culture that the child in the youth the parents are taking care of the child. And in the parents' old age, the role reverses, and the child, they take care of the parents. Just like we were yesterday in whose house? Devanshi's house? What's her name? One devotee, she invited us for prasadam. So her parents are elderly, her father had surgery. So she is showing the model of a child. The child will take care of the parent. Now she's in her 30s and her parents are in the 60s, 70s. So she takes care of them nicely. So the obligation we have to our parents is very strong, because they're the ones giving us culture, they're the ones giving us training. Without them we cannot even speak. Without the mother and father we cannot even speak, right? Because they're the ones who teach us how to speak. So everything we have in this world we are obliged. And especially the mother role is a very deep role, because the mother role is not only giving material thing, but the satisfaction of the child is dependent on the love and care given by the mother. So that's a very important role. But we see in modern society that role has become sidelined, that it's not a very important role, it's a side role. And the primary role in modern society is, how do I make money? So the goal dictates the means and the values of the society, right? Actually, I think it's Karl Marx, or one of the main people who introduced communism. He says that the culture is based on the method of economic development dictates the culture of the society and the politics of the society. So the method of how the country is economically developing, that dictates the whole culture in the society. So in our modern society we say democracy, right? So officially we are considered some kind of democracy, some kind of republic, some principles like that. But actually this society is more like plutocracy. Because plutocracy means ruling by the economic class. So just like when you have a politician, does the politician get voted just for his merit, or he gets voted because of his marketing success? What is the main thing? His personal merit or how much money he spent in marketing? What do you think? Which one is it? What do you think?
Money, for
Especially
sure.
in the US.
Yeah. How much money did you spend?
So all of the politicians, they are actually controlled by those who have money. Because without them, they cannot get into power. So it's a whole mess in the society, right? So modern society, they think that the goal is to make money, so therefore the parenting role is not so important, education is not so important, spirituality and morals is not so important. The main goal is to make money. Just on Friday we were in Cincinnati, right? So we were discussing, what is the name of the surgeon? Jai, I think. Is it Jai? Jai Prabhu. So we were discussing how he's working in the medical industry. So how the medical industry is completely controlled by economics. Even though a doctor should be there, his goal is to help people. But he was saying that he feels very sad that in the US, the goal of medical industry is how to make the biggest paycheck, how to make the biggest amount of money. So even in Europe, it's not so much like that, because generally you have universal healthcare. But especially here, that's a very big problem, right? Has anybody experienced that? You get the check from the hospital and you're like, oh my God. One of our gurus, Mahavishnu Maharaj, he had malaria because he preaches in Africa. So he had a malaria relapse, because malaria is a very bad disease that it stays in the blood. Anybody's had malaria before? It's not so nice, right? Not so nice. And it stays in the blood, right? So he had a relapse. He went to Africa, then he went to the US after he had relapse. So he had to go to the emergency care. And he stayed 2 nights and they gave him bill $30,000. Luckily he had insurance, but this is the cheating which is going on in the modern society. So actually Vedic culture means that the value is not put on money, because that is Vaishya, that's the standard of the Vaishyas and the Shudras. But the standard of the Vedic society is the Brahminical standard. So therefore is a knowledge and renunciation. So those who have spiritual knowledge, especially, because Brahmana doesn't mean just to know material things, although they also teach material things, but it means, Brahmana means Brahma Janati Iti Brahmana, that one who knows spiritual knowledge. That is the proper Brahmana. So that person has knowledge and also renunciation. He has good character. Because if you're leading society but you're also very greedy, then of course you're going to exploit others, right? But the Brahmana has no interest, he's renounced. So in Brahminical society, the emphasis is also placed very strongly on teaching and the parental role, and especially motherhood role. So therefore modern feminist society, extreme feminists, they always like to say, no, we don't need to be a mother, why is the woman only a mother? We also want to work and be same everything as the man. But actually they don't realize that motherhood is a privilege and is more sacred than making money. That's the topmost service. So modern society is teaching that motherhood is not important and making money is the most important. But then generally we take advice from people who live the talk, right? They walk the talk. So we see that people who promote this kind of philosophy, they have generally, there is a correlation between this philosophy and not healthy families. Maybe they have a child who is completely psychologically messed up. Maybe the child is fighting with the parents. Maybe the child is taking drugs. Maybe the child has all funny ideas in the head. So we can see that in a modern society, this is very popular, these kind of ideas. But at the same time, you have to show practically that what you're saying is working. But we can see that especially in the US and so-called first world countries, that the degradation of culture is increasing, not decreasing. And you see in those who have more traditional roles and they have more spiritually linked culture and God-centered culture, that the family unit is much more healthy. And not only what they say in altered culture, but in modern society also, that the happiness of the child, satisfaction of the child is based on the family unit being very strong. Why? Because the son, he takes the qualities of the mother. And the daughter, she's taking the mood from the father. So according to Vedic culture, the parents must be there because otherwise they don't have the proper role models. So we were discussing also yesterday that just like nowadays there's lots of divorce. Even unfortunately in our own ISKCON society, because we are also influenced by modern culture. But actually, according to Vedic system, there is no name for divorce. There is no word for divorce. Now in Hindi, what is the word they use in Hindi?
Talaq.
Huh?
No, that's a.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
not-
that's Urdu, but
that's
Hindi
Urdu,
word,
right? That's
there is
not-
another word, I forget what they say. It's also is based on Sanskrit word, but actually when you look in Shastra, that word is never there. So there is some case which divorce is okay. For instance, if your partner is abusive, especially physically abusive, or is breaking Dharma, then you can reject that person. But doesn't mean you just keep marrying and everybody is just changing every 50% of marriage, breaks. So the role of the mother is very important because she's teaching how to love and she's teaching the role of how to deal with opposite sex, with men. And the mother is also teaching what is nourishment and how to love others, how to care for others, how to be selfless. So without that strong role model, it's not very helpful, right, for society. And similarly, the father role is very important because not only the father is teaching how to be responsible, but father is also teaching the principle of authority. So when this marriage breaks up and mother and father separate, then the child, they lose the faith in the principle of authority. This is what is explained by Bhaktivedanta Maharaj. So this principle is very important. So the role of mother is very, very important because without proper motherhood, then society will not develop nicely. So we see that the same thing, Arjuna, he says to Krishna in the Gita. Anybody remember what he says? Somebody remembers? That he's saying to Krishna that, oh, I shouldn't fight because what will happen? Somebody remembers? Huh? Yeah, what else? But what he says but what he says more?
That if the ladies
Family
of the
tradition
family will
will be
be
lost.
killed or,
Who is in the back? Somebody? Ah, yeah.
if the ladies of the family will be killed or, the next generation will be spoiled.
Spoiled, yeah. So Jayate Vana Shankara. I forget that verse now. Anyone remember?
This is chapter 1.
Yeah. So Arjuna is explaining to Krishna that if we kill all of these people, the millions of people they died in Kurukshetra battle. It was a very huge war. Because it wasn't, generally we say world war, right? Like World War I, World War II. But those were world war, but it was certain countries. But Mahabharata was the destiny of the whole planet. Because Yudhishthira Maharaj, he became king of the whole planet. Not just like little bit some countries in Europe, little bit Japan, little bit US, but the whole world, even North America, South, everywhere. If you look in South America, there is evidence even that Ravana was there. They had a tunnel. So Vedic culture was spread everywhere. So he's saying that if we kill these people, imagine how many ladies they will not have husband. and then they will become very confused, and it's very hard to live without another partner. And then there are many nefarious men, they may try to exploit other women who are single because their husband died, and it will cause all problems in the society. So he's saying that it's better that we do not destroy these families and they stay together so that Dharma can be taught nicely to the next generation. It's a good argument, right? What do you think? It's a good argument, right? But Krishna, he rejects this argument and all of Arjuna's argument. Because if he doesn't defeat the Kauravas, then, and they're in control, they will create more disturbance, even more. So this is called the principle of Dharma Sankat. That means the clash of principles. So what Arjuna is saying is valid, but there is a higher principle which is more important. Just like normally we give this story that there is a man, he's running and he's saying, I'm trying to kill this, sorry, he's saying, they're trying to kill me, I'm going to hide, give me somewhere to hide. And you say, hide in that door over there and I will lock the door. And then the robbers come in the room and they say, where is the man, where is the man? I need to kill him, I want to rob him. And then you say, oh, I don't know where he is. So, but if you're very uppity about being very honest, no, I must be very honest, the man is in there, then he dies. So he dies because of you. So you have to see, there is two dharmic principles. One is to be honest, and one is to protect life. So in this case, protecting life is better than saying a small lie. So we see this principle is there in the pastime of Yudhishthira Maharaj, right? Huh?
Ashwatthama.
Yeah. But Yudhishthira Maharaj, it happened to him because he is the one who is supposed to be very honest, Dharmaraj, right? So when Ashwatthama, they have to kill Ashwatthama. Does anyone know why it was very important to kill Ashwatthama in the battle? Somebody remembers?
Break the moral of Dronacharya.
Yes. Because Dronacharya, if he knew that Ashwatthama is dead, who is just the most dear person, then immediately he will lose morale and he will feel not the strength to fight. But obviously it's not easy to kill him because he's a very, very expert warrior. So what did they do? And you remember which animal they got? Elephant. So they said this elephant is also called Ashwatthama. So then they said to Yudhishthira Maharaj, don't worry, we will say Ashwatthama is dead, but you killed the elephant Ashwatthama, and that therefore Drona will become very disturbed, and then he will lose morale, and then that way we can become successful. But he says, no, I don't want to say Ashwatthama is dead, because even in my heart I know that I'm also saying a lie, I'm being deceptive, duplicitous. So then he says, okay, what do? You say Ashwatthama the elephant is dead, and then we will blow the horn. So then Yudhishthira Maharaj is being honest, at least he's saying what he said, and nobody can blame him that he didn't say. But he hesitated to say because he thought, no, it's not good, it's not good. So anyone know what is the special feature of the chariot of Yudhishthira Maharaj? Somebody remembers?
He didn't touch the ground.
Yeah, he didn't touch the ground because he was so pious that he was not part of this world. He was very pure, very, very pure. But then after saying that, his chariot was touching the ground. And some people, they were saying, yes, just see, because he lied. People criticizing Yudhishthira Maharaj. Not lied, but he was deceitful. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, no, the reason why his chariot started touching the ground, which represents loss of some kind of piety, was because he hesitated to follow Krishna's instruction. So Dharma is very important. That Dharma Rakshati, what is that one? Dharma Rakshati Rakshita, that if you protect Dharma, then Dharma will protect you. And what is the other side of that one? Somebody remembers? That if you break Dharma, then Dharma will break you. So therefore you must follow Dharma. So the mother is the one who is the first guru, the first one who is teaching the child. So therefore the whole society is based on Dharma, and the role of the mother is the first one to teach. So therefore first mother, Ado Mata. And then next one, Guru Patni, so the wife of the Guru. So wife of Guru, because traditionally Guru, now in ISKCON we have mainly sannyasi Gurus, right? Because we have different preaching model. But Vedic society, everybody already knew the knowledge, it was just up to them whether they want to follow or not. So it was not so much like missionary mood like we have now. Because Vedic culture, everybody was in Varnashram system already. It's explained in Vishnu Purana, Varnashram Acharavata Purushena Parakpuman Vishnu Aradhyate Panta, that the goal of Varnashram, of the proper Varnashram, Devi Varnashram, is that the Vishnu is the goal. So Vishnu is on top. That's called hierarchy. Does anyone know what is the Greek etymology of hierarchy? Somebody know? That is the hierarchos, the holy order. So hierarchy actually means that Vedic system we have hierarchy, but the order must be God on the top. That's called Devi Varnashram. And you have Asuri Varnashram, where the demons, they think they are on the top. So God is on top of Varnashram system, which is very important, right? So then everybody in the lower rungs of the ladder, they're all contributing upwards. And the end result is God. So therefore Varnashram system is very important. And Guru specifically, he was in the Grihastha ashram. Just like my name is Sandipani Muni. So he was a Grihastha, right? So there are many, many gurus, but not only spiritual guru. The guru will teach everything in the world, in the society. So Guru Patni, because the guru in Vedic society, generally the male, they take the, what you call the predominant role, but actually behind the man is always the woman who is giving him strength. So Prabhupada says that actually the man, he's thinking he's in charge of the household, but the woman actually is giving the strength to the man. So Guru Patni, and the wife of the guru, generally Gurukula means young age. How old are you?
9.
9. So he's also Gurukul age, right? So now we say Gurukul because we joined ISKCON movement late, maybe 20, 30, 40, some people 50, 60. I met also people who joined ISKCON age 70. But traditionally you are taught by Guru in young age, in the childhood. So then the wife of the Guru is just like, becomes like your mother. And it's explained in Bhagavatam, I think in Narada Muni is teaching about Varnashram, I forget, I think 7th canto, that the wife of Guru, even if the child is very young, then she has to also braid his hair, do the sika, she has to give oil for his skin, everything. It's just like the mother. So this is another important role, not only Adho Mata, but the Guru Mata as well, the wife of the Guru. So, and wife of the Guru is also teaching many things as well. So Adho Mata, Guru Mata, no, Adho Mata Raja Patnika is next one actually. Also, so the wife of the king. So why is the wife of king important? Anybody can say?
The citizens of Praja, they're like his children, so they're the parents of the country, they're protecting the citizens. She's also taking the needs of the citizens.
Yes, very nice. Everybody heard? Mataji explained that because the king, he's considered like the father of the society. And the people, they are called Praja, which means just like their own children. So the wife and the king together, they take care of everybody. Just like we can see the example of Ram and Sita, right? And there are many, in Bhagavatam, many examples we see of king and very pious wife. Just like we have also Pandavas, Kunti is very pure, very advanced. So you can read in Bhagavatam her prayers. So the wife of the king is also very important because not only she helps to make sure king is strong and teaching nicely, but she also has motherly role and motherly feeling to all of the society. And because sometimes men, we can be more dry, right? Just like when I travel, I say, oh, I'll just sleep on the floor. I don't care. Like I was in New York, I was just sleeping in the mat. But I come here, and the Taylor Prabhu's wife says, no, we will give you so much bedding, so many things. So the wife, she can feel more sensitively even than the man for the needs of the society. And especially for the children, she has much more deeper feeling. Because that's the difference between the Purusha and Prakriti. That the Purusha, the masculine, they have the goal focus. But the feminine, they want to make a nice experience. Not only the goal, but also how you get to the goal. They make the experience very sweet and very nice. Just like the man, he says, I want to have a house. So I will have a house, it will cost this much, this size. But the wife is thinking, how will I make the house beautiful so that people can have a nice time? How will I make the experience nice? So she will pick beautiful curtains. The man, he will pick the cheapest IKEA curtains. And the wife, she will say, no, the IKEA curtain looks very tacky. Isn't it? And she will say that, no, he says, I want to put just a black cheap carpet. And why? The goal is to get a house but not spend too much. So the wife says, no, you're going to live in the house, so you better put a nice flooring, so then you will enjoy it for the rest of your life. Not get something and then tomorrow you will not like it anymore. So this is the nature of the feminine, that they want to provide all of this experience. So Ado Mata, Guru Parnika, Raja Parnika, then Dhenu. Brahmani, next one. So the wife of the Brahmana, which is very similar to the role of the Guru as well. Because the Brahmana, he's the top of the Varnashram society, right? So he's the one who's giving the knowledge, he's the one who's giving the inspiration to the society and the goal-orientated way that we have to worship the Supreme Lord, not just to be chasing money. The Shudra, they're just chasing mindless enjoyment. So we see that in modern society. You see that on a student night in the evening in Columbus, right? They're just chasing sense gratification like animals in the street, right? Recently I was in Miami, so I was taking Uber, and the man, he was saying to me, oh, Uber is very interesting because a lot of the clients, because most people in the US already have cars, right? But still, a lot of people, they need taxi when they go to drink alcohol, right? Because they can't drive. So he says many of them, they're like animals, they come and they're like this in my taxi, and many of them throw up. But he says, in one sense I hate it, but another sense is good because I get the extra $100 donation from Uber for the cleaning fee. And he said, I just clean myself and then I keep the... So modern society, he says that this taxi driver is saying all of the students, in the day they're very intellectual, very nice, and at night they turn into animals. So the Shudra is looking just for enjoyment. The Vaishya is looking how to make money. And the Kshatriya is thinking how to manage, how to control. But the Brahmana is thinking how to guide the society with knowledge. So the wife of Brahmana and Brahmana together, they're very important in the society. Because without them, then it doesn't work. And then what is next one? Then is Dhenu next. So what is Dhenu? Anybody knows meaning? Cow. So there is nice verses which you can read about the cow. Just like I travel with Mahavishnu Maharaj. Anybody know Mahavishnu? You know, Hare Krishna. I don't think he ever came here, right?
Yes, he did.
He came here?
Last year.
Last year?
Yeah.
Whoa. Wow.
One night.
Really? Yeah?
One night only.
Wow, amazing. I didn't know he came here. So I used to travel with him like many months a year for about 6-7 years, like most of the year. So I never memorized this verse, but just with him, he used to always, he's very attached to cows. Generally we think he's mainly attached to his hat, but he's attached actually to the cows. So Mahavishnu Maharaj is very powerful in cow worship, that even in Africa, in Congo, anybody been to Congo? Congo is in the top 10 most dangerous countries in the world and also most poor countries in the world, top 10, very, very. And even the GBCs of Africa, they don't want to go there, nobody wants to go, but he will go. And he there established different Gaushalas, 2 Gaushala, and he established in Uganda and different places. So he has mystic power that whenever he goes in the field of cows, they follow him around, and they follow him and they want to lick him and they want to hug him. And the cow is very affectionate to him. So anytime we go to a cow, then Mahavishnu Maharaj will tell us that first you pay obeisances, then you circumambulate the cow. So everybody should learn this, that cow is also very important, cow should be worshipped. Because cow actually, it's explained, this is the verse which Mahavishnu Maharaj taught us. He says, pay obeisance and then he will make us recite this verse. Namo Gobhya Srimativya, that the go is just like the goddess of fortune. And Surabhi Visyavacha. So Surabhi means in the spiritual world there is a very special cow, Surabhi cow. And that cow is a divine, like a divine goddess cow. And all of the cows, they represent Surabhi. So, that, what is it? Remember what I was saying? I forgot the verse now. Namo Gobhya Srimativya Surabhi Visyavacha Nama Brahma Sutavyascha. So she is just like the divine daughter of the original creation. Because the cow, without cow there is no human society, Prabhupada explains. And Pavitraigo Namo Namaha, that I bow down to the cow because she is the one who purifies the society. So the cow actually is considered like a mother. And that's why we see now in India there's lots of debate, because you have people who are trying to be very, very secular, and then you have BJP who is trying to institute more like traditional Indian culture. So one of the things they're preaching strongly against is no more cow killing, no more cow killing, right? Anybody seen any debate like that? In India it's going on a lot. So luckily I saw one debate, I think his name, anyway, we shouldn't get into politics. But one of the leaders, he was saying that no, cow killing is not against the secular principles of India because it's written in the constitution about cow protection. So this is very lucky that they did this, because without that, it will not be easy to justify it. But he's explained that the cow is just like the normal mother, because the cow is giving milk, and that milk is important for human society. Because if, just like nowadays, it's very famous veganism, right? Actually, just around 100 years ago that word was invented. Before that, the word doesn't even exist. And actually, before that, it was very rare. And even you look online, you look at famous vegan, most of them actually, they're not vegan. I researched, they're all vegetarian. But there are some few people famous, they were. But that, we do not have historical evidence that it has been a sustainable diet for human society. But we have a pure evidence that vegetarian diet is possible with the help of mother cow. And we can see that in India, because since time immemorial, then we have had vegetarianism there. And Indians, we can see even in the US, they are not less intelligent, they are not weak, they are very strong and successful in society, right? Just like in the UK, you look at the top politicians, leaders, and top, materially speaking, the top billionaires, many of them, they from Indian background, and many of them, they're devotees even. So we can see that vegetarian diet is very strong, makes people survive nicely, and the cow product is very important, just like you have vitamin B12. And another thing, choline. There's many things which you cannot get in a vegan diet. So everybody who is conscious in society, they know that animal killing is too much violence and it's very bad. Not only is it bad in terms of karma, in terms of our own emotional psychology, that we should feel compassion and not cultivate a cold-blooded, like very hard, thick skin, that let them die, I don't care, I will eat them. We become compassionate, right? But not only that, but we see that we have a cow and the bull. So the bull is just like the father. And most of the food which we eat is grains, right? So the grain we cannot plow. Human body is very weak, right? Can you plow the land? We can do it together, yeah? So human being is not easy to plow the land, right? So you need the help of the bull. So the bull is just like the father. So the bull is providing grains. And not only that, but any soil which you have, you need to have very rich topsoil, right? Anybody doing agriculture here? Very nice. So the topsoil, if it's not fertile, it's a big problem, right? And you have to till the land, right? So the cow and the bull is very important. The bull, he can help to plow and till the land, but the cow, not only she's giving milk and so many dairy products, but the cow dung is also very powerful. Because you need to mix the hay, like a grass, dried grass, and a cow dung, and it can make a very powerful fertilizer. Am I correct? So without having fertile land, human society cannot eat. So the cow is one of the best animals to fertilize the land. Other animals, they also can contribute. Just like Nanda Maharaj, he didn't have only cows. Does anybody know any other animal Nanda Maharaj had? Goats, sheep. He had also buffalo. So there are many animals. And the Prabhupada said that buffalo milk is not comparable to cow's milk. Buffalo milk, it makes you strong physically. But cow milk, it increases the intelligence in the brain. Therefore, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that the cow's milk is necessary for the human society because it helps to develop the finer brain tissues. This exact word Prabhupada uses. He doesn't say it's a nice thing, you can enjoy, but Prabhupada says it's necessary for human society because it helps to develop the finer brain tissues in order to understand spiritual knowledge. So that's a very nice quote. So we can see that nowadays we have a little bit problem in the society due to this. Some people, they're on one extreme vegan, another people, they're another extreme, they're eating meat. But the correct way of living is that you have agrarian society and that you cultivate grains, different food products, vegetables, fruits, everything, and you also take milk products, and that way you can have a healthy nourishment. So therefore cow is also considered to be the mother. And then they know, and then Dhatri. So what does Dhatri mean? Somebody knows? Huh? Yes. Actually, I heard two things. Maybe you guys can help me. I heard Dhatri means nurse, but also wet nurse. So what does it mean? Somebody knows? Or both?
Wet nurse.
Wet nurse specifically. That's what I used to hear, but then I heard recently somebody saying just mean nurse in general.
Caregiver.
Sorry?
Caregiver.
Caregiver. So anyway, we can say both, because both is like a motherly role. So we can see that in our society, mother, she's not only taking care like biological mother, not only the Brahmana's wife, the king's wife, not only the cow, but also those who are taking care of our health and our nourishment. They're also considered to be mother. So we may experience that, just like, not so common in the West, but in India, people have maids, people who help in the house. And they may even be wet nurse, or they may even be helping to take care in other ways, when you're sick, whatever it is. So we have that experience in our life, right? Just like I travel, so I'm not with my mother much. But sometimes I get sick. So then maybe somebody will take the role and they will take care of me. So we can see we're also obliged to these people. That's also like mothers, right? And then Nenur Dhatri Tata Prithvi. The next one is, Prithvi means the earth, right? So we can see that earth is the most important, because without the earth there is no humans, there is no Brahmanas, there are no kings, there are no cows, right? So the earth is also very important. And this is a value which is being lost in modern society. Did His Holiness Srilananda Maharaj ever come? I think he's been here a lot, no? I think so, Columbus. So he likes to explain, because when you study native cultures of this world, Vedic culture and a little bit more older cultures than Middle Eastern religions, like his wife Sam, she's very knowledgeable about pagan culture and different other cultures, all cultures in the world. She's a very intelligent lady. So she was telling me about some of the native cultures in Europe, that how they worship different elements and different parts of nature, like pantheism, right? So we can see that that's also there in native cultures. So therefore, when did this come about in human society, that we started to disrespect nature and start to see it as contemptuous, something which is low and not, which is profane and not divine? So he says that this comes, this is his analysis, that he's saying that this is coming because in Middle Eastern culture they have a wrong philosophy. Middle Eastern religions, which means Judaism, Christianity and Islam, and that wrong philosophy is the extreme dualism, that God is very, very divine, and this world is very, very profane, very, very negative. Matter is very sinful by nature, inherently sinful. And therefore, this material world is useless, it's a junk. You don't have to care about it, because this world is not holy. But when you look at native cultures in the world, which all we know, they come from Vedic culture, they have that idea that even the river is holy, even the plants, even the trees, even the mountains. In our travels, just like we were in South America, so they have many mountains and they make pyramids. They say it looks like a mountain, but when you get closer, it looks man-made because of the shape. So actually in these cultures, they used to even see the divinity in the mountains and so many things. So actually the respect must be given, because the earth is also sustaining us. So earth is also like mother. And actually Bhumi Devi, she's very, very important role. But in modern society we think, no, there is no demigods behind anything, and this world is just dead matter. So therefore we shouldn't take care of the society. But actually according to Vedic society, you have to take care of Bhumi Devi. So does anybody know the prayer that when you wake up you can say this prayer? You bow down to Mother Earth and you beg for the forgiveness that I'm putting my feet on you. Somebody remembers it? I don't remember it. You remember? But you've heard of this prayer, right? So I was thinking to find it, but I didn't have time. So Mother Earth, there is a very nice prayer which you're supposed to say according to Shastra, that you say that, my dear mother, please forgive me that I'm stepping my feet onto you.
She's
So,
addressed as Vishnu Patni, the wife of...
Yes, the wife of, yeah. So she's, imagine the role, the wife of Vishnu. But nowadays we think, oh, the earth is not so important. We pollute the rivers, we pollute the mountains, we create landfills. It's like modern society. You can see one documentary, it's called A Plastic Ocean. And there you will learn how much society is destroying nature. And you will immediately understand why Srila Prabhupada said that we should develop the organic Varnashram community. We have a traditional Varnashram culture, and we have also culture according to now modern time, place, circumstance. And we have also working with the land, agrarian society. And Prabhupada wanted even the clothes that we weave them ourselves. You read many instructions Prabhupada gave. And all of the food we eat, that we should, whatever we eat, we should prepare ourselves from the land and from the cows. And Prabhupada was so serious about this point that generally we say devotees should not eat mushrooms, right? But in France, in Umaipur, they have a small white mushroom. What is the name? Champignons? I don't know the name, but it's a small white mushrooms. When you go to that temple, you can see it's growing in the forest. Prabhupada says, if you are establishing varnashram, you have to eat whatever you can to live on the land. Even you can eat this mushroom, he said. But he says, don't offer this to the deity, but you can eat this. So he was so extremely enthusiastic about living on the land that whatever is available you take, rather than depending on the modern society. So we can see that the land is just the most important mother as well, because without the land taking care of, and not only taking care but also worshipping and understanding the role of what Mother Earth is giving to us, then we will not be successful in society. Then they know Dhatri, Tata, Prithvi. These are the 7 mothers. So what is the time now? It's 12:30. What time am I supposed to end? Just on time.
Yeah.
I was worried it was over. So any questions, comments, any further elaborations? Many of you much senior to me, you can share in more in-depth knowledge.
I was also thinking of that verse. Don't become mother, don't become father. The most important role of the mother is to liberate the dependence from the cycle of birth and death. So
That's a very nice verse.
yeah, so
That,
Guru
yeah, Guru Nasasya Janani, that you should not, one should not take the role of Guru, one should not take the role of family member, one should not take the role of father, mother, unless you can deliver your dependence of birth and death. So ultimately, thank you Prabhu, this is a very good point to conclude, that we don't forget that mother role is most important. Actually, I wanted to read one letter actually, which Prabhupada talks about this. Where is it? Prabhupada says, yeah. This is to Arundhati. Anybody know Mother Arundhati? Anybody know?
She lived here.
She lived here.
Yeah, she typesets the 6 books on the typesetting machine here in Columbus.
Whoa.
I mean, not in this temple, but in Columbus.
So imagine what a coincidence. So this is, he wrote to her in 1972. So that was around the time ISKCON Columbus started. Which year?
It started in 68, 69.
Whoa, so it was one of the first.
Yeah.
Amazing. So in 1972, my dear Arundhati, I will just go to the part here. I am simply surprised that you want to give up your child to some other persons, even they are also devotees. For you, child worship is more important than deity worship. If you cannot spend time with him, then stop the duties of pujari. At least you must take good care of your son until he is 4 years old, and if after that time you are unable anymore to take care of him, then I shall take care, Prabhupada says. He will personally arrange. These children are given to us by Krishna. They are Vaishnavas, and we must be very careful to protect them. These are not ordinary children, they are Vaikuntha children, and we are very fortunate we can give them chance to advance further in Krishna consciousness. So 2 points we can see. First point, that the Prabhupada says that for you, because you are mother, your child worship is more important than deity worship. Because the child, personally Krishna has given you this child to take care of, and you are the one who the child is most connected with. So without your connection, without your love, how he will grow up nicely? And he said, if you cannot take care, then I will take care. So imagine, Prabhupada is so busy, he said, even I will take care.
What is the age for him?
Sorry? The child, he says here, until 4 years old, you must be always non-stop taking care of the child.
But then after that?
Then after that, you can little bit be more, you can be more open with your schedule.
But we have to take care till...
Especially to 4, Prabhupada says, actually, here he says 4, sometimes he says to age 5. Bhaktivedanta Purnima, you can hear about family seminar, Varnashram Dharma seminar, Grihastha seminar. He's a very top psychologist and very, very Shastri Guru. Imagine the name he got, Bhakti Vidya Purna, complete knowledge about Bhakti. So he explained that he was giving Prabhupada quote that he says, until age 5, you have to do whatever the child wants, you have to follow.
After 5, what we do?
And then after 5, you start training slowly. So how old are you? He's, I think, over 5 now.
He's 5.
5.
He's 9, and I'm the homeschool.
Yeah. So until age 5, you have whatever the child wants, you do. He wants to run around, you follow him. He wants to eat ice cream, you take whatever he needs. But after age 5, then Bhakti Vidya Purnima explained, the child must be trained in how discipline and sense control, and a little bit more knowledge, increasing with age. And then Prabhupada says, after age 16, then you should not be like parents, but you should become their friend. Because especially in Vedic culture, by age 16 you're basically adult. Now in modern society, even after age 21, the kids are not adult, they're still confused. So, but like Prabhupada and his wife, they married very young, and sometimes people, they say, why? They seem extreme, but if you see, especially in India, but many cultures, people used to marry younger, because society was very different, and they had much more maturity, much more responsibility. Now we go to school and we learn how to become mischievous, we learn how to become frivolous, we learn many bad habits. Instead of learning knowledge, we learn data, but we learn uncultured. We don't learn how to become cultured, but we learn how to become uncultured. That's the modern US college life. So we have to be very careful. Hare Ramesh Prabhu knows, right? Yeah. So then Prabhupada says, first point is that child worship is more important than deity worship. And second thing is, they're not ordinary, and it's our goal that give them a chance to advance further in Krishna consciousness. So Mataji is doing a very nice job. You're training them very nicely. So I also feel fortunate. My mother is also a devotee. And from age 4, her parents, she's from Gujarati background, like Vaishnava background. And then age 4, when she was 4, they joined ISKCON. So I got the chance to attend Gurukula as well. But in England, it's not full Gurukula like you get in India or if you homeschool. But at least I learned a little bit more than what other people get a chance to learn, just coming once a week on Sunday or something like that. So it was very helpful. So I'm very grateful for that. And we can see that my teachers in Gurukula, they are all, generally we say Guru Padni, right? But they are actually gurus. Because our head teacher was the Mother Moksha Lakshmi. She's a Prabhupada disciple. And another one is Mother Guru Charana Padma. Anybody heard of Janavi Harrison? So her mother was our Gurukul teacher. And many others. In the UK also, it's very nice. The Dhatri, I think it also means like midwife. That's like more broad definition. Because the very important is who receives you when your child is born. So it's very nice if you're pregnant and you're awaiting a child, that your midwife can be a devotee. So all of us who went to Gurukul in the UK, our midwife, is it midwife? That's the name? Yeah. Like the one who helps you deliver the baby, right? So, but in America it's a different name. Doula.
There can be both a midwife and a doula.
Oh, okay. But they're similar role, like.
Yeah. The doula is focused on the mother and the midwife is focused on the baby.
Okay. So we can see that in the UK, many of our youth, there was a Prabhupada disciple, Rama Devi. She is very, very senior. She spent the last years of her life. She was single. She never, I don't know if she even married whole life. I think whole life she was Brahmacharya. At least the end years of her life, because I didn't know her much until I got older. But she was doing full-time pujari in Mayapur. Maybe some of you know her, Mother Rama Devi. She's from Scotland. So also the midwife, if she is a devotee, then when you're born, she will chant holy name and she will put very auspicious things, like a Ganga Jal, whatever it is. So the standard is that when the child was born, they will play Prabhupada's kirtan. So the first thing when you come out of the womb, you hear the holy name and you hear from Srila Prabhupada. So imagine. So maybe they heard when they're born. You gave them Mahamantra, they could hear. So the first impression is that you hear Mahamantra. The mother or midwife, somebody who is there, they can sing for them or they play. It's also nice, you can play kirtan like Srila Prabhupada's recording. Then the first wake up to material world, you hear kirtan. So imagine. So this is the also importance of that. So Guru Nasasya, Janini Sasya, one should not be mother also, unless they know what is the goal of motherhood. The goal of motherhood is to bring up your child very nicely and help them to become Krishna conscious. So, any other question, comment, reflection, especially from mothers? I feel when Prabhu said to give the class, he said it's Mother's Day, so I felt like a bit ashamed that I'm a boy, how I can talk about Mother's Day. Because better a mother talks about it, but because I'm here visiting, then but at least it's good that then I get a chance to glorify mothers. So, is any of the ladies like to share anything, any point? Especially if they're mothers? Maybe one of you two? Prabhu, you had something?
Yeah, Prabhu. It looks like
you're promoting a wedding. one should not become a mother unless you have that ability or capability to liberate the children.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like if you have to take the scriptural point of view and to generalize it to the whole world, then it looks like the whole world is going to hell. I just want your viewpoints in this, because people are giving birth to children, and the father thinks there's a responsibility, and that responsibility is to give good education materially for him or her to become successful. They think that is his responsibility, and that's the general idea of the whole world. And when one gets married, then the husband thinks, she's my wife, let me take good care of her. Then you buy her a house, buy her a car, or whatever that will keep her going, make her happy. And you see that all these attempts to help, to make your partner happy, is all pertaining to the body.
Mm.
It has nothing to do with the soul. So, what do you have to say about this? If you are a father,
Mm.
and you cannot liberate your children, means you are a father and your children are void of Krishna consciousness. You are a husband and your wife is devoid of Krishna consciousness. What do you have to say about this?
Yes, this is a good point, because I was listening just the other day to Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He also probably came here in the early days. So he was talking about, he was in Hong Kong, so everybody knows Prabhupada instructed him because of Radha Damodar party, and they were being very, very, very enthusiastic to bring everybody on board and to say that our party is the best. So then some problem happened, so Prabhupada told him that now you have to go preach in China. And he did, and now China is probably making more devotees even than many countries in the West, like in Europe or US makes quite a lot, but still I think China is doing very well. So when he was in Hong Kong, he was saying that now it's your duty, that China, they used to have a culture of worshipping forefathers and strong family unit, but even there it was destroyed because of capitalist influence and everybody chasing the Hong Kong. Normally we say chasing the dollar, but there's chasing the Hong Kong dollar. So because of that, the whole family structure was also breaking down. They used to have kind of some, very similar to Vedic culture, some elements there in China, but it was all lost. And he's saying now, even the people here, they don't worship even their forefathers anymore. They don't even have respect even for their forefathers. Now everybody becoming selfish in this society. So he's saying now it's your duty as devotees that you have to stop them going to hell. You're going to sit here and chant japa peacefully in Mangalarti and let the whole city go to hell? He's saying, what kind of devotee is that? So he's saying that it's the duty of the devotee that we have to have compassion, that we're looking out the window and all of these people, they may be going to hell. So we have to give the knowledge. That's why the distribution of Prabhupada's books, distribution of holy name, prasad, very important, because then we give people a taste of spiritual life, we give them knowledge, then they know how to adjust their life and put it on the right course. Because we say Grihastha, Grihastha means the great Tishtiti Grihastha, that one who's running household. But what is household? That's based on the premise that you've been Brahmacharya before. And what is the role of the Brahmacharya? It means he studied the Shastras properly and he is already trained in what is the goal of life. So it's explained that Brahmacharya life, they have to do different stages of study, right? And after they complete that, they have the choice. Either I will be renounced whole life, or I will apply these principles and bring it in family life. And that way my family will become my service, because my children, like very nice boys here, they will be the future of Krishna consciousness in the society. But the modern society is called Grihamedi. That we're maintaining house, but we're just being envious of others and trying to get the most sense gratification for me and my family. Extended selfishness, Prabhupada says. That we have selfishness for me, and extended selfishness is me and my family. And then more extended selfishness is me, my family, my country, like that. So yes, If they do not know what is the goal of life and we have family, then probably we will go to hell, depending on what activities we're doing. Generally, we're trained to do not so good activities in the modern age, so probably yes. But we should feel that it's our fault, because we should be the ones helping them. And he gave another lecture to Hare Krishna Maharaj, and he said that you should not he says we are now trained by Srila Prabhupada, and we should not allow ourselves to leave the body without knowing that we've given everybody a chance on this planet that they get Krishna consciousness. And there's 7 billion people on the planet, right? How many? 7? So, and that's a lot. Around 100 years ago, I was reading the population growth. It was around 2 something billion. Now it's like 7 billion. So we have to make sure that we are working hard, that nobody can leave the planet, leave the body, and then they go to Yamaraj, and Yamaraj says, look what you've done. You've killed this amount of cows, you've killed this amount of animals, you've stolen this amount, you've destroyed this much of nature by all the products you're buying, you've aborted this many babies in your womb. Now you're going to go to hell, Yamaraj will say. But nobody should be able to say that, no, it's not my fault, nobody told me I shouldn't do this. Nobody should have the chance to go to Yamaraj and say, I didn't get a chance to practice spiritual life, nobody told me this was wrong. So it's the duty of devotees that wherever you go, Priti Vite Ache, Joto Nagaradigram, Sarvatra Prachar Hoibe Morona. That wherever you go, every town, village, just like Taylor Prabhu and I, we've been around 5 different cities in the last 3 days. Quite busy with Hare Ramesh Prabhu also. So wherever you go, whomever you meet, you teach them about Krishna consciousness. Sarvatra, and wherever you go, my name will be heard. So therefore, who is the one that's going to fulfill that prediction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? That's our job to do. Because we are the one, we are Rupanugas, we are following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's our duty to share. So that's why it's very happy that today Hare Ramesh Prabhu showed me you have building a big temple. So now you have to fill up that temple, invite people, thousands of people to come. Just like in London, even the Queen, has anybody heard of Parashuram Prabhu? You've heard of him in England? Oh, you were in England before, yeah. So Parashuram Prabhu is such a very advanced devotee. Once I was in Janmashtami in the manor where there's 70,000 people coming over 2 days. And Radhanath Maharaj, in the dirt and the mud, he did full dandavas to Parashuram Prabhu. And Radhanath Maharaj is one of the most powerful people on the planet. And Parashuram Prabhu distributes so much prasad that the Queen personally invites him to all in her personal events. The Queen of the UK, she's inviting him because she knows that this is a very powerful person. So we should be trying our best to whatever impact we can do in this world, we should try to make an impact. And sometimes we feel, oh, I'm very busy, I'm working so many things, how can I make a difference to change the world? But actually, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, he says that it's not easy to change the world, but it's very easy to change somebody's world. And that comes by empowerment. So therefore Chaitanya Charitamrita says that Krishna Shakti Vinane Tara Prabhu. Without the Shakti of Krishna, you cannot preach. That in this age, Kali Kalera Dharma Harinam Sankirtan. The Dharma is the chanting of holy names, right? And it requires Krishna Shakti to preach. So how can we become empowered to share this knowledge, to save these mothers and fathers who are being... Many children are born to parents who don't know what is the goal of life. So it's our duty to help these people, right? But how can we become empowered to do it? So that's another point, very nice point. Anybody heard of Bhuta Bhavana Prabhu? Yeah. So he explains, his disciple Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, he explains, he's from the UK, that when one's desire to serve is greater than one's capacity to serve, then at that point empowerment occurs. So all of us can become empowered, just we have to have the desire. And we can do great things to help people in this world. And we can make sure that every child, every mother, every father, they know that how to become free. Mochaya samupeta mrityum, how to become free from birth and death. So thank you. Do you have a question?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, in England we have the Avanti school system, which is government funded. We don't have anything like that here. So how do we impart what they're giving? Avanti is a full-time school system. So how do we impart that on our kids?
Yeah, very good question. And then we'll end because time is ending. But at least it's nice discussion. So, in England we have something very special because first we had a Gurukula in Bhaktivedanta Manor, but that's private run, so it costs money, so not everybody can afford to go. So we have some very empowered devotees. How many they have? Maybe 7 in the UK, I think.
No, 37. One is two.
Now they have 37.
37, yeah.
Oh my God, oh Prabhupada. Amazing, eh? So many schools, and there, because if you look around the world, it's very easy to find a Christian school, right? We were driving past, we saw a school, it's a Christian school, and now Muslims very strong, so they have Muslim-run schools. There are many Jewish schools in the US, around the world. So in the UK, all of these schools are public schools. So then the Hindus are saying, what about us? So some devotees from ISKCON, they become very empowered by Srila Prabhupada, and now they made 37 schools, and they're all state funded, right? All of them? And so the teachers, generally they're devotees, and the curriculum is linked with the, we say Hindu school, but generally it's ISKCON running the school. So it's pretty much Prabhupada's teachings. And they have a small temple, they have deities, they do kirtan, and I think every day they do kirtan and they hear a little bit philosophy. And all the food they eat is prasadam. So in the US not so easy to do because it's more secular, right? Because England is not so secular like here. So it's church and state is, England is more Christian actually in one sense. It's weird. American, the people in general, they're more Christian, but in England the government is more Christian. Just like the House of Parliament, many people get the seat just because they're Christian, which is not, shouldn't be correct, right? Like in the US you can't get a seat just because of your religion. That would be discrimination, right? So, but in the UK we have this Krishnavanti school. So in the US what you can do, at least for now, like Mataji is doing, you can teach your children something at home, or even better, you start Sunday school. Sunday school is important 2 reasons. One, the child, if he goes to regular school, he cannot learn all of these things. And the second reason is when he goes to regular school, 90% of his influence is people of his age, right? Kids generally, we are more attached to people our age than people older or younger than us. We very much identify with our age because each year is a big difference, right? So when you're young, you're very much influenced by your peers. So if they have Krishna conscious friends like in Sunday school, then they'll grow up with correct peers and they'll protect themselves. So that is the thing, because we're seeing many millions of, I think there's around 2 million Indian immigrants in the US. How many?
2 to 5.
Even more. How many? Even up to 5. So there is several million Indian immigrants in the UK, right? Many of them, they're Sri Vaishnava, many of them Swaminarayan, many of them very religious backgrounds. Many of them are vegetarian, but in 1-2 generations it's going to be lost. So that's why it's very important. You have these, like I went to Gurukul only till age 11, because after that we didn't have enough youth to continue it. So then I went to regular school, but my parents said, don't worry, we will put you in Sunday school. So every Sunday, 30 children together would get together, and we would learn Matya Kurmavara, like this, different songs, how to learn. It's like Das Avatar is hard to learn, different names in order, but we learn as a song. And then you learn the song about lifting of Govardhan Hill. You learn all of these songs, so the children become very, very happy and they get good association, and that way they remain protected. So most of these people who went to our Sunday school, 90% they're still very good devotees, 90-95%. Because they have these lifelong friendships. So thank you very much. I think time is really up now.
Let's praise Sandipani Hare Krishna Prabhu ki.
Thank you. Prabhupada ki jai.
So we can now take the mats and put them in the corner and stand up for Arti Kirtan. Sandipani Hare Krishna Prabhu ki.
Guys, 15 minutes. Me and him like brothers. I mean, you're younger than me, but we're like brothers. He's like my younger brother. Because of him, I came to Bhutan. We're good friends.
You okay?
Traveling and preaching. You want to do it? You want to do it? Sorry, brother. He's traveling. I met him in New York. He's everywhere. It's just about to take something else.
Oh my God.
Arati finish.
Hare Krishna.